Please welcome Lima Bowie, Yael Admi, and Reem Hajajreh.
Good evening. I'm Lima Roberta Bowie, 2011 Nobel Peace Prize winner from the Republic of Liberia. So in 2014, at the peak of the Ebola crisis, I got a call from a group of women. Can you come? The Israeli and Palestinian women have started a movement called Women Wage Peace. And we need you to come and give us some advice. I couldn't go, so I sent a video. 2 years later, 10,000 of us walk across the desert, singing for peace, chanting for peace, side by side, Israeli, Palestinian, and every other sister from across the world who had come in solidarity. This continued for 9 years. Yael and Reem are both head of this group. You both are here today as representative of a historic movement to bridge divide and advance peace in the Middle East. Since October of 2023 and the subsequent conflict, your movement could have easily been discouraged. But in the last year, both of you have decided you're going to keep going. You've been recognized by Time Magazine as the 2024 Women of the Year. You have secured a spot as nominees for the 2024 Nobel Peace Prize. Can you tell us about your work and what moved you to continue to forge this unlikely partnership with one another? Me? Yeah, go ahead, anyone. Don't be shy. I know you two can talk a lot.
بداية شكرا لكم ويسعد مساء الجميع. حلو انكم تسمعوني باللغة العربية وبعرف انه في ترجمة. بالنسبة للعمل المشترك بيننا وكنساء الشمس ونساء يصنع السلام ما كانش بالمفهوم الطبيعي، ما كانش العملية كمان سهلة نهائيا، كان فيها تحديات كثير وكان فيها ضغط، وخصوصا انه احنا الشعب الفلسطيني مش سهل اننا نتقبل اننا نعمل مع الاسرائيليين، متهمين بالتطبيع، متهمين بالخيانة، لكن جمعنا صوت واحد اتفقنا عليه، كان هو صوت الأمهات. إما الأمومة هي اللي جبرتنا إحنا كنساء إن نكمل في طريق كثير صعب رغم الحرب اللي بيناتنا. إجمالاً أنا لما بنحكي عن شراكتنا بنحكي عن كثير تحديات، كثير وجع، كثير ألم، كثير خوف. إحنا كثير بنخاف على أولادنا، خوفنا دائما مبني على تحديات، على الوضع السياسي، كيف ممكن نكمل، كيف ممكن أولادنا يكونوا أسوياء عايشين بكرامة بحرية وبنفس الوقت نحاول نحميهم. وهاي رسالة الأمومة اللي إيش ما كانت الأم، بعيد عن لون، عرق، جنس، دين، بنتفق عليها انه احنا كنساء من حقنا ان ندافع عن اولادنا.
Motherhood, the right to protect your children, the right to forge partnership regardless of. Yael?
Dear Lema, you're asking us about hope and partnership. And actually, you are our great teacher for these two important issues. In every difficult moment, and we have many of them now, we remember what you told us 8 years ago when you arrived to support our March of Hope. You stood on the stage and told us, listen guys, you are taking now the most important role to raise up the flag of hope. But be careful. This role will demand a high prices from you. So if someone is not ready to pay the prices, you said, get out now from the room. And none of us left. And here we are, keep going on the march of hope. Thank you so much. And I want to add about partnership, what you taught us. We devote all our time in strengthening our partnership. And can you imagine, 3 days before the horrible 7th of October, we organized a great event with 1,500 women, Israeli and Palestinian, with big group of women all over the world that came to support us. And there on the stage, on the 4th of October, we said to our leaders, listen, you can't continue, ignore the conflict. You can't hide it. All of us are sitting on a ticking time bomb. It will explode in our faces. You should go to negotiation process and find a mutual, respectful agreement. And 3 days after, that's what happened. And at noon, at the 7th of October, Reem texted me and said, Mama Yael, which is my favorite name that she gave me a few years ago. What's about Vivian, our beloved Vivian Silver? Do you know what's happening with her? I'm so worried. And then she added, the terrible things that are happening now should push us to work with more courage, more vigorously, to promote our common mother's call. And that's exactly what we are doing from that moment. Because we know these terrible days are an historical opportunity to make this awful war to be the last war between the sea and the Jordan River. We have to do it. It's urgent, and it is our duty.
I remember the women, I remember Regina, I remember the joy, but there is still the divide. In Liberia, we had the Christian-Muslim divide that we had to overcome. How have you navigated this divide? How are you convincing people that this is real? Reem talked about all of the negativity. How do you navigate all of these things? How do you convince people that we can engage and we will continue to engage? Reem, you want to start?
Yes. برجع بحكي إنه مش سهل علينا إن نقنع مجتمعاتنا بعد كل الخراب اللي عماله بيصير خصوصاً بعد 7 أكتوبر. كان المجتمع الفلسطيني أو المجتمع الإسرائيلي مش سهل إنك تحكي له كلمة سلام. كأنها صارت وصمة عار كلمة سلام. بس إحنا قدرنا نخترق قلوب الأمهات والآباء. إحنا لما بيجي بيصير في نوع من التحدي بيننا وبين أي حدا، بحكي له أنا ابني بدي أحميه. كأني أنا بسقط كل القوانين، كل الأعراف، كل العادات والتقاليد عند هاي الكلمة. أنا أم ومن حقي إني أحمي ابني، أحمي أخوي، أحمي نفسي حتى. إحنا كمان كنساء معرضات للخطر في كل لحظة. الوجع اللي جوانا اللي عمانا بنشوفه كل يوم هو أكبر إشي معطينا الدفعة للأمام إنه لازم نعمل إشي. بناء السلام في مجتمعاتنا كان كثير مهم. مليارات الأموال دفعت من أجل الحروب، بس ما اندفعت من أجل السلام أو بناء السلام على الأرض. كثير مهم إنه العالم يساعدنا في هاي النقطة، يدعمنا إنه كيف نحقق السلام في مجتمعاتنا بالأول. إحنا كثير محتاجين لسلام داخلي في قلوبنا، نتحدى الصعوبات والصدمات اللي دخلناها، وهذا مش إشي سهل. وقفتي جنب امرأة إسرائيلية بالنسبة للعالم عار، بس بالنسبة لي أنا قوة لما أنا وياها بنتفق على لغة واحدة، إنه كيف نوقف الحرب، كيف نوقف دائرة الدم، وإنها هي تتعامل مع ابني كأنه ابنها والعكس صحيح. أنا بالنسبة لي هاي القوة.
I respect what you just said, because most times people tend to think that women peace building is all kumbaya. And Reem has just said to us, standing beside an Israeli is not an easy thing, but we have one language, and that's the language of motherhood. That's the language of peace. And I think this is a message that we should all take from here, that regardless of how difficult any kind of conflict is, we must find a space for our collective humanity. What do you say to those who say, Yael, this is not real?
I learned from you what to say. And I want to explain a few things about women power. Is it okay with you? So at that event on the 4th of October, among the supporters arrived also the Irish ambassador. And she stood on the stage and asked us, do you know why our conflict already solved and yours not yet? Because in our conflict, there were women around the table that led the reconciliation process, the negotiation process. And in your case, there are no women. And you know what is our secrets? You know, but I'll tell to the men. I'm sure that all of you want to know what is the secret of women. So I think that the first and the important thing is that we don't need to win anyone. We know that in wars, there are no winners. We're just looking for sustainable solutions that will take care of the complexity of life, the multidimension of life, and will bring solutions that all the participants will feel that they got the empathy, the patience that they need. That's what we know to do. But our strongest power, as Reem said just now, is our determination, our consistency, our devotion, because there is no power in the world that will stop mother to prevent the life of her children.
I like what you said. There are no winners in war. And in order for us to build peace, we need empathy. In order for us to go across divides, we need to see the humanity of each other. You all talked about women participation. Let's just say we're living in an ideal world where we don't have to keep pushing that women need to be around the table. Reem, if you were around the table, what would you be saying? If you were participating in a negotiation, what would you be saying?
اشعروا فينا بالأول. كثير مهم إنه نكون مش بس جزء من المفاوضات، كثير مهم إنه يشعروا في الوجع تاعنا. إحنا كأمهات كل يوم نفقد أولادنا، بكونوا في المستشفيات جرحى، أسرى، مخطوفين. إحنا بنتألم، مشاعرنا مستهان فيها، وجودنا كمان كنساء مستهان فيه. أنا كامرأة فلسطينية وأكثر من نص المجتمع الفلسطيني نساء، ضروري أكون مشارك. أنا لما بشارك في طاولة المفاوضات ولا مرة بقبل إنه يكون في حرب. أنا دائما رح أقبل إنه يكون في سلام عشاني وعشان أولادي.
Around the negotiation table, my decision will be for peace and not for military action. Yael, what will you bring to that table?
I think that the best thing that we can bring to the table is our ability to build trust. And that's what we are doing in everyday life. You should see both of us speaking this morning, maybe the most intimate and personal conversation with Google Translator that enable us to express our feelings and to feel so close, even though our situations in life are so different.
Yeah.
But we feel we are the same. And I think maybe this is the biggest secret that we can bring to the negotiation tables. The ability to look each one on his own life, on his own needs, on his own narrative, to give the empathy, as you said, to take in consideration his needs. That's the way to make peace.
The UN Security Council Resolution 1325 calls for protection, participation, and the prevention or protection of women. Prevention, protection, participation. And for years, next year is going to be 25 years, and people always ask, are women more peaceful than men? And the two of you just really nailed it by saying, it's not that we're peaceful, but we have more empathy. We can build trust. We can bring the human factor to the table, and that is what is needed in a divided world. Thank you so much for putting that beautifully for all of us. So we're about to go, and I know how difficult it is to do bottom-up peace building. Many times people see the two of you on stage, you're cleaned up, you're made up, but none of us know the backstory, the pains, the silent tears, the frustrations, the lack of funding, the many telephone calls and the many no's that you get. So for the audience here today who are looking at you two clean up nicely, who sees your cooperation and partnership as an example of people-to-people diplomacy, because that's what I want to call it, how can they support you? How can we support your specific mission? How can we more broadly support more women participation in this process of people-to-people diplomacy?
So thank you
I will
so
take
much.
it to you, Yael, and then we'll give Reem the last word.
you.
We're counting down.
Thank you so much for this important question. We believe that hope is not something that suddenly arrives in the sky. Hope is something that you have to work for it in the real life, and that's what we are doing. And in these difficult days, our main mission is to enhance our common mother's call. And each one of you can help us, because we need as strong as possible international support. And I invite all of you to get inside our new common website, the name motherscall.org. And please add your support to our joint
Efforts.
request. And I'm so excited to use this distinguished stage to make the first unofficial announcement about our next project. And here it is. We are beginning to build a group of prominent women, key figures like you, that will come and support us and will help us to spread the word. And maybe come to our region and to make us make peace. And we are doing this project with the amazing organization, Vital Voices.
Reem,
and we know it's time for peace, it's time for women. So please help us. And also the men that can connect
quickly
to their inner mother voice are most welcome.
Reem, we're out of time, but let me give you a moment to say anything that has pulled at your heart.
أنا من قلبي في كثير كلمات ممكن أختصرها بكلمتين إنه إحنا كنساء فلسطينيات كثير محتاجين للحرية، كثير محتاجين للسلام، كثير محتاجين لكل صوت يوقف معنا عشان نصل لهاي المرحلة. شكرا.
Peace, freedom, democracy. And Yael was ashamed to say, because women are always ashamed to say, please go to their website, donate, 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 because women building peace is not rice and beans, it's hard work. Thank you all so much.
This session has now concluded. Thank you for joining us. Please leave your headsets on your seat as you leave the ballroom.